There's a verse in scripture that I'm familiar with, one I've heard plenty of times before, but I don't think I fully understood it until recently. It's simple, familiar, and often quoted. And sometimes, the scriptures we think we know, we don't really know at all. This verse became clear to me in a moment of surrender and vulnerability, and I want to share that with you. So with that being said, let's get into it. Hey y'all, I'm your host, Sharia Devon. If you grew up in church, or if you knew someone who grew up in church, then I'm pretty sure there are some scriptures that you're familiar with. Scriptures that you probably could quote off the top of your head. Maybe because you went to vacation Bible school as a kid, or maybe you went to private school like I did in my formative years, or maybe because you were raised by someone that made sure that you studied the Bible, or any other miscellaneous categories. But there are some scriptures that we know that we can just say, like John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believes in him would not perish but have everlasting life. I think that's like one of the first scriptures I ever learned. Or the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, blah, 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 right? There are scriptures that we know, that we can quote, that we've heard over and over again, and that we might also just say to ourselves over and over. And so there's a scripture that is a part of my, let's call it, biblical or scriptural lexicon that I pull from regularly, that I say in my mind over and over, or that I quote regularly in prayer or to myself or to apply to certain situations. And that's Psalms 46:10, where in this psalm, the author writes, "Be still and know that I am God." And I've heard that scripture over and over and over again. And it wasn't until recently, this week actually, that I realized, I thought I understood that scripture, but I don't think I did. So before, I used to think that the scripture, "be still and know that I am God," meant our position. I thought it meant my physical position. Not so literal, but stay with me. I interpreted that scripture as God is almighty and he takes care of all of us and he'll take care of everything. And you don't have to fight. You don't have to force something, that God will take care of it if you just be still and recognize who he is and recognize his authority and how he shows up in our lives. And I'm not saying that that isn't necessarily true, but there was a situation that I was dealing with, that I've been dealing with for some months now, and it became so very clear to me that God was not necessarily speaking about my position. So around October of 2025, I got into a car accident. It wasn't a major car accident, like somebody hit me from behind, but nevertheless, it's an accident. And if you're like me, what an inconvenience, okay? Especially because now I might have to get a rental car. I got to put my car in the shop, right? Like there's all these things I have to deal with that are going to interrupt my flow and my routine of living. And so let's throw in there, let's hope the person has insurance, right? Like all this stuff. So luckily, it was like a little fender bender. This person hit me from behind as I was driving home one day, and they had insurance, like it was fine, like no problem. So I call my insurance to make sure everything is good, do all the proper things, claim, pictures, all the stuff. And so when I was speaking to the insurance agent, everything seemed to be going fine. Like I asked, like, how long was the process going to be since I'm not at fault? Like, I just want to make sure that the shop is paid, that I don't have to, worry about any of those things. We exchanged emails and also spoke to this person on the phone. And so they said, yeah, no problem. Not a big deal. Great. I go get a rental, drive my car, and in around 2.5 weeks, maybe 3, I go get my car back. I go into the car dealership. I signed the contract, said it's already paid for it as it should. I also had email correspondence from the agent saying, yep, we sent, the information to the shop. We sent money to the shop. I even spoke to the other driver's insurance. They contacted me, like making sure all my I's were dotted and my T's were crossed. And they let me know that they had sent the money over to my insurance, like everything was good. Great, no problem. So, in around December, I get a phone call from the car dealership saying that they were going to send my bill, like send my invoice to collections because I owed them money. And I said, "What? Like what are we talking about? What has transpired? Like what is going on that y'all are talking to me? Y'all should be talking to the insurance company. Like I have no money. I have nothing." And mind y'all, this was no small amount of money, okay? We are talking about thousands with an S of dollars. Thousands of dollars. And so I'm a bit frustrated. And the lady in the car shop, she was very nice. She was like, "I just wanted to call you, like, and let you know this is what's happening." She said, "I'm not going to send it to collections yet, but I'm waiting to hear back from the insurance company." I said, "Ma'am, I don't, I don't know what's going on." I said, "But I don't have any money. Like, I don't have thousands of dollars. And also, I was never given any money." She said, "Well, their insurance company is saying that they paid you." I am aghast. I said, "What?" "Ma'am, they have not." I said, "No, you are mistaken." I said, "Ma'am, I will send you my bank statements. There have been no deposits into my account. Trust me, for the amount of money that you are speaking about, I would know. I am a salaried employee. I get the same amount of money every month. I absolutely would know if this amount of money you're speaking of that cost to get my car repaired was into my account." She said, "Okay, not a problem. Like, send it over to me." She said, "I'm also waiting to hear back from the insurance company because they said that they have some evidence that they paid you." I am furious and also I'm very confused. So I reach out to the insurance agent, the person that I was dealing with, and initially he was very kind. Up until now, he was not. And when I spoke to him, he said, "You told us to pay you." I said, "What?" I said, "Why would I tell you to pay me?" I said, "Let's be very clear. There is no reason why the exchange of monies should have went through me." I said, "Sir, there is no reason why I specifically need the money. I don't need to touch money at all. All I need you to do, all I need y'all to do is to pay the car repair shop." Now, I have been driving for a very long time, and I have gotten to one or two accidents or incidences in my tenure of driving. I know how insurance claims work, and I know y'all know how insurance claims work. You file a claim. If you're not at fault, your insurance pays. Your insurance pays up front if you're not at fault, and then whoever was at fault, their insurance pays after, or typically, or something along those lines. And I remember discussing with the insurance agent, like, "Hey, I don't have time to wait. So this needs to be paid, and then y'all do whatever y'all do, like on the back end." Now, there might be some folks out there that might have asked their insurance to personally pay them for reasons that you have. That was not me. I promise that was not me. So I am going back and forth with my insurance because now they are saying that they have the routing number and the account number, and I gave it to them on a call. And you know, when you call these places, they say these phone calls may be recorded for future use, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. Like now my mind, I feel like my mind is playing tricks on me. I am 100% certain that there never was a time that I told them to pay me. But for whatever reason, they're saying that they have audio of me. I said, okay. I said, "Please send it to me." Because, like, if I had a massive, massive brain fart, if I had a massive, massive brain flub, then I need to hear myself saying it. I don't think I did, but like, this was my thinking. And so they said, "No, we're not going to share the audio with you. This is your fault. You need to pay the shop." I said, "Oh, no, 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 no." So I call the car repair shop back and they say, "Yeah, we're waiting on them to also send us audio. I mean, we see your bank statements. We don't see, I don't send any of that." She said, "I'm going to wait, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Okay." I am stressed. I am internally combusting. So time goes by. I am in an email feud with my insurance. And I find an email from September where the agent I was speaking to literally sent me an email saying, "Hey, we just sent the money over to the shop. Everything is taken care of." Because I hadn't heard from them while my car was in the shop. And I was like paranoid because that's just how my anxiety works. Like, I just want to make sure that I don't have to pay. Okay. Like, I just want to make sure that somebody is getting their money and y'all are taking care of it. And so I had emailed the agent and he had finally got back to me. And so I was like, ooh, relief. Okay. And then I went and got my car. So I find that email and I email that to the agent and I email that to the car shop. And they don't really respond. And so that's irritating. And so at this point, I say, okay, I need to speak to this agent supervisor. We're not getting to the bottom of this. They are insinuating that on a call, I gave them a routing number and I gave them an account number, and they see that it was deposited. And so I'm like, well, have y'all seen my bank statements? There's nothing. So I talked to this supervisor, and this is where it gets worse. I thought the agent was rude. I had nothing but great things to say about this insurance company that I'm with until now. The supervisor left me multiple voicemails saying they paid me, I need to pay the shop, and basically that I needed to stop like communicating with them about it because it was over with. And I said, yeah, nope, I need proof. I need proof. I sent him my bank statements and he goes, oh no, it wasn't this bank. It was another bank. Friends, at this point, it's giving scammer. Like, it's giving fraudulent behavior. So I only use one bank. So let's get this right. You're telling me that I gave you the routing number and the account number to another banking institution to which I don't use? Okay. And you're implying that I have done something unsavory and fraudulent. I just took a deep breath and I am praying and I'm saying, Lord, these folks are stressing me out. Like, I need your help. Like, I need you to rectify this because this is insanity. So, as I'm praying, I am asking God to show up. I am asking God to rectify this situation. And I am like so stressed out because the interactions that I am having with this insurance supervisor, he has been so mean. He has been so unkind. He has been so unresponsive. And he refuses to give me someone else to talk to. And so I'm feeling defeated and I'm feeling depleted because like I don't have the capacity for this. There are other things that are going on in my life, like this is like bottom bottom of the totem pole of things that I want to be giving my energy to. And so I'm in my bed in the morning last week and I am praying to God. And at the beginning of this year, I have been intentional about trying to draw closer to God and be in alignment with Him. And I've also been asking God, one of my prayers has been asking Him to reveal to me who He is as a father. If you are a consistent listener, then you've listened to the unforgiveness and forgiveness episode. And if you've heard that, then you hear me share about my relationship with my father and a specific situation that really had an impact on me. And so my prayer has been that God would reveal himself to me as a father. Because I don't know about you, but I'm a very visual learner. And so everyone needs a frame of reference. And so growing up with a single mother who worked her tail off to provide for me and my siblings, I only have a frame of reference as my mother being a provider, right? So I hear people talk about God as a father, and obviously I know of that, but I don't know it, if that makes sense. Like, I knew of that extension of God's attributes, but I don't know that personally. And so I've been asking God to please show me What is it like for him to show up in our lives as a father? Because I didn't grow up with one. Now, I will say that I have been so very fortunate to have some men in my life that were like fathers to me. And one in particular is an older cousin of mine. He absolutely has been like a father to me, and I would consider him my father. He might not know this, but yes, if I think about a dad, I would say I would consider him my dad. And from my experience, he is an example of what a father would be, what a loving father would be to their children. And so anytime I need him, I can call him and he shows up. And I'm always so grateful because I think to myself, wow, this is what a father does. And so I say that because when I was going through the situation with my insurance, he has been helping me fight them. And so what I have learned is that when you're in trouble and you go see your father or someone who's like a father to you, they take you to lunch. And so I went to go see my cousin. I dropped by, and in father fashion, he's like, you know what? Let's do lunch. You want to go to lunch? Of course, yes. And as I think about telling this story, I am thinking about how he has shown up in so many ways for me as a father. My cousin has helped raise me while I did not live in the same home with him. He has been supportive. He has been to every milestone. He's been to every graduation, every accomplishment. And if I need him, I know I can depend on him. He was the very first person that took me to buy my first car, talked to me and taught me about loans. He is the person that I call when my car is broken or a flat tire or need to get it fixed. He has changed the lights in my car, batteries, shown me how to do it, given me instructions. He taught me about home ownership and made sure that he connected me with the right people to purchase my first home. And so when I think about if I could pick someone to be my father. Obviously, he's my cousin, but I would pick someone like him. Whenever I am with him, I feel absolutely safe and I know that I'm taken care of. Now that I think of it, that's like God when he shows up as a father. He's there to support us at the highest, and he's also there to support us at our lowest. His love doesn't change, and my cousin has absolutely shown up that same way. So we go to lunch, and I am giving him the rundown of what's currently happening. And so he says, here's what you need to do because this insurance supervisor is claiming that I gave them the account information for another banking institution. And so I'm not sure where they got this from. And so when I talked to the insurance person, I asked them to please give me the last 4 digits of the account number because this other banking institution, I haven't used it in years. Like, I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. Like, it got like $2 in it. Like, it's not an account that I use. I don't remember years ago, like, why I had ended up opening it, but like, I didn't use it for much. Nevertheless, I know for a fact that I never would have given them any information to that account because I don't even use it. And I for sure don't even know the account number. Y'all, I don't even know the PIN number to the card that goes with it. Okay. And so he sends me this information and I say, sir, this is not my information. And so he continues to imply, well, how did we get it then? I have no idea. I could not make this up. And so my cousin says, this is what you need to do. You need to go to this other banking institution and you need to go talk to the actual branch manager and tell them the situation. So I do that and I explain the situation. And the branch manager was such a lovely lady. I mean, she was so patient and she was so kind. And I asked her to do a trace on this, money they say they sent me, like the whole nine. And so she comes back and she says, ma'am, yep, I can see your account. That no money has been in your account. I said, ma'am, I know. And she says, now there is another account here, but it's not yours. I said, I know that too. It's not mine. She says, have your insurance call us and have them speak to me. I take a deep breath and I say, okay. I go home And I sent an email to the insurance person telling them I spoke to this person, please give them a call. So when I wake up the next morning, I am doing my regular good morning talk with God. And I don't typically put on my worship music in the morning, but I did this morning. Not sure why, but I did. And I put it on and I just lay there. I didn't have any thoughts racing through my mind. I just kind of got real still, hoping to maybe hear from God. And after about a minute or two, I said, God, I really need a win today. Only you can fix this situation. I need supernatural help. I have done all I can do. I said, please, I need a win today. An hour later, I had a few missed calls, but I don't pay attention to them because these spammers and these scammers, they really out here doing the most. So any number that's not saved, goes to voicemail. And I got a voicemail from the branch manager and she said, hey, can you please give me a call? I spoke to the insurance folks and I just want to share with you, an update. I go to my email because I'm like, I wonder if he sent me an email. And he did. And the email said, I spoke to so and so at the banking institution, the branch X, Y, and Z, and the money indeed did not go to your account. It went into someone else's, but still tried to subtly jab me and say, even though you gave it to us, which I didn't. But we will reissue you a check or you can give us your account number. We'll make sure we get that money out to you. And I closed my email and I just cried. I'm laying in the bed and the tears are just rolling down my face. And I heard God say, a father takes care of his children. And y'all ain't gonna lie, that sent me in. I'm not gonna lie, it sent me over, okay? And I just thanked the Lord. I told him how grateful I was, and I kept saying to myself, a father takes care of his children. I know a mother takes care of their children. A good, loving mother takes care of their children. I know that for a fact. I have multiple frames of reference for that. My mother, my grandmother, other women that I know that are mothers. I know that for a fact. And the scripture, be still and know that I am God, was not necessarily about my body being still, but my spirit being still. Allowing God to settle my spirit, to settle in his presence, to settle in the confidence that he was going to take care of it, to settle in releasing all of my might and power and fight. Now, don't get me wrong. Be still and know that I am God. I don't believe it means that you just sit down and don't put forth any effort. I was putting forth a heck of efforts, okay? I was in the fight of my life, it felt like. But I believe that God revealed to me through that scripture of be still was to be still in your heart, be still in your mind, be still in your emotions. Settle here, settle right here in my presence, and allow me to go before you and to fight for you. And God did just that. I don't know that God is going to show up within the hour every time. I can't say that. But what I can say is this, is that God hears us and he cares about us. And there is nothing too big or too small to give him or to ask him for your help. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 11, in the 28th verse, he said, come to me, all of you who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest. He said, take my yoke upon you and learn from me, because I am lowly and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. He wants us to give us our burdens, the things that weigh us down, because he can carry it. We can go into a deep dive if you want in a later episode just about yokes and what he was speaking about. It's an apparatus they put on cattle or oxen to help them carry things, for all my visual learners out there. And Jesus said, my yoke is easy. My burden is light. If you give it to me, let me do the heavy lifting. So be still was not my physical location. It wasn't my physical self, although I was. It was my spirit. And so, as I am encouraging myself today and sharing with you the goodness of Jesus, I encourage you to not stop fighting, to not stop putting forth effort, but to invite Jesus into the fight with you. You know, as I was going through this for months, I just was so stressed, and I'm trying really hard to be kind to myself and, not criticize myself too much about it, because I know God can do anything and I know that He cares. And it's really hard to see that when we're in the middle of it. And so I'm using this testimony, I'm using this situation as a reminder that, yeah, I might have to fight. I'm going to have to fight and put forth a lot of effort, and God is with me in it, to take God with me. I mean, I had Him, I was praying, but I just surrendered. I just said to myself, yeah, if you don't do this, listen, it ain't gonna get done. I need the creator of heaven and earth, the creator of the universe, to step in on my behalf. And that's how much He loves us. What I came to understand is that be still isn't passive. It doesn't mean giving up or checking out. It means settling your heart long enough to trust that God is present and at work, even while you're still putting in the effort. Stillness isn't about changing your circumstances. It's about surrendering the need to control the outcome and letting God carry what me and you were never meant to carry alone. So as a reminder, be still and know that He is God. Until next time, this is Kingdom Conversations. If Kingdom Conversations has been a blessing to you, my only ask is that you share it with someone else so that they also will be encouraged. Thank you for listening to Kingdom Conversations. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Kingdom Convo Podcast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast. Spotify, YouTube, or Amazon Music, so that you stay up to date with all new episodes of Kingdom Conversations. Kingdom Conversations are new every Tuesday.